It was late afternoon on the Santa Monica Pier when the sun bled gold into the Pacific and the air was thick with the smell of salt and popcorn. Families wandered past street performers, couples shared ice cream, and children laughed as waves crashed beneath the wooden boards. Amid the noise and joy of the crowd, a young girl named Lily sat quietly near the railing, sketching the ocean. Her wheelchair was parked beside her, its chrome wheels glinting in the sunlight. She was 13, thin, shy, and born with a spinal condition that made walking impossible. Her drawings were her escape. Waves, whales, bikers, anything that made her feel free. She didn't notice the 3 teenage boys until their shadows fell across her sketchbook. They were older, 16 or 17, and dressed in the casual cruelty of youth. One of them, the tallest, snatched her notebook from her lap and laughed. "What's this? A mermaid? You think you're gonna swim, Cripple?" The others laughed too, loud enough to turn a few heads before the crowd moved on. Lily's voice trembled as she said, "Please, give it back." But they didn't. The tall one kicked the side of her wheelchair, spinning it half around. Her small hand reached for the brakes, trying to steady herself. The second boy shoved her sketchbook toward the ocean breeze, pages fluttering like frightened birds. Then it happened. The third one leaned in close and sneered, "Move, Cripple," before kicking the front wheel of her chair hard enough that it rolled back against the wooden boards with a crack. The laughter echoed. People stared but did nothing. Phones came out but no one stepped in. Lily's eyes welled with tears as her sketches, her world, scattered down the pier. The bullies strutted away, victorious in their cruelty. What they didn't notice was the low rumble of engines rolling up Ocean Avenue. It started faint, like thunder miles away, but it grew, louder, deeper, commanding. Within minutes, a line of black and chrome motorcycles appeared from the boulevard, turning toward the pier entrance. Leather vests gleamed under the sun. The patches read Iron Wolves MC Los Angeles chapter. Leading them was a broad-shouldered man named Hawk, a Marine veteran turned biker. His face carried the calm of someone who had seen too much to be shaken easily. Behind him rode Ghost, a silent road captain with a beard white as frost, and Tank, a gentle giant who worked at a local garage fixing bikes for free. The Iron Wolves weren't saints, but they had their own code. Never harm the innocent, and never turn your back when someone weak is being trampled. Hawk parked his Harley near the railing, just as Lily was gathering her scattered drawings with trembling hands. He saw the scrape on her arm and the tears she tried to hide. "You okay, sweetheart?" he asked, his voice deep but kind. Lily nodded, though her voice broke when she whispered, They kicked my chair." Hawk's eyes followed the direction she pointed. 3 boys laughing near the hot dog stand, showing off like nothing happened. Tank bent down beside her, helping her collect the last of her drawings. One had a picture of bikers on a highway, their vests reading Iron Wolves. He raised a brow. "You drew us?" She looked embarrassed. "Yeah, I saw you guys once on the coast road. You looked free." Hawk smiled faintly, though something hard flickered behind his eyes. "Free's a good word for it," he said. "Stay right here." The Iron Wolves didn't move fast, they moved with purpose. The sound of their boots against the pier planks drew attention from every corner. The teenagers looked up just as the line of bikers stopped in front of them. Hawk stood still for a moment, arms crossed, the wind tugging at his vest. The crowd began to notice, parents whispering, tourists filming. The tallest bully smirked nervously. "What, you old guys lost?" Hawk stepped closer, his boots heavy. "You kicked that little girl's wheelchair," he said quietly. "And thought it was funny?" The boy scoffed. "What's it to you?" Hawk's voice dropped lower. "Everything." The pier went silent except for the crashing waves below. Hawk didn't raise his hand. He didn't need to. The Iron Wolves formed a half circle, their presence enough to make the bullies' laughter die in their throats. Ghost leaned on his bike, his voice cold as smoke. "You think being strong means hurting someone who can't fight back? Try picking on someone who can." The boys shrank back. Tank reached into his pocket and held out Lily's torn sketchbook. "You owe her an apology," he said. "Now." One of the boys mumbled a sorry, barely audible. Hawk's glare didn't soften. "Louder," he said. They repeated it, voices shaking this time. Hawk motioned to the sketchbook. "And you're gonna buy her new pencils, a new pad, and you're gonna remember this day every time you see someone in a chair, on crutches or limping down the street. You understand? The boys nodded fast, but Hawk wasn't done. You're not bad kids, he said finally. You're just lost. But let me tell you something. Strength isn't about kicking down the weak. It's about standing up for them when no one else will. His voice carried over the pier, quiet but powerful. The world's already cruel. Don't add to it. The crowd had stopped pretending not to watch. Some clapped. Some lowered their phones. But most just stared silent, like they were witnessing something rare. Men who didn't just ride for themselves, but for something greater. Lily's mother ran up from the parking lot, breathless and pale. Oh my God, Lily, what happened? Lily smiled weakly. It's okay, Mom, the bikers helped. Hawk tipped his head respectfully. Ma'am, your daughter's stronger than most people I've met. The woman's eyes filled with tears. Thank you. People just walked by. Hawk gave a small shrug. That's the problem. Too many people watch, not enough stand. As the sun sank into the Pacific, the iron wolves lined up again, engines roaring like lions ready to return to the wild. Hawk turned to Lily one last time. You ever want to ride, kiddo, you call the iron wolves. We'll make sure you see the whole coast. Lily smiled through her tears. Can I draw you guys again? Hawk chuckled. You better. They rode off slowly, their silhouettes stretching long against the setting sun, chrome glinting like armor. Behind them, Lily watched, holding her sketchbook tight, a single tear cutting down her cheek. But it wasn't from sadness anymore. It was hope. The next week, a photo went viral online. It showed Lily sitting proudly with a brand new sketchbook, surrounded by the iron wolves, all smiling in their black vests. The caption read, "Sometimes angels ride Harleys." Thousands shared it. People wrote comments about kindness, courage, and how real strength comes from compassion. The three boys later volunteered at a local disability center as part of community service. No one forced them. Hawk's words had done more than any punishment could. Months later, on the same pier, Lily's artwork was displayed at a local fair. One of the paintings was titled, "Wolves by the Sea." It showed a pack of bikers standing between her and the ocean, guarding her like sentinels of honor. When Hawk saw it, he said softly, "That kid's got fire." And for the first time in a long time, he smiled without the weight of the world behind it. Because sometimes, justice doesn't come from courts or uniforms. It comes from the roar of engines, the brotherhood of the road, and the silent promise of men who refuse to look away.